Hello everyone and welcome to IWM Duxford for the, what's it called? Behind the scenes flying day today. You're behind the scenes slightly as I flap around as we've just gone live a little bit early. So don't all disappear, but flying's been delayed hopefully for a little bit of a weather window. As you might be able to tell, as I glance up, I can see some blue sky. Things improving here gradually. It's a cloudy start, but gradually improving. So first flying display was due to take place now, as I speak. It's been pushed back 1 whole hour, so don't disappear. I've got some entertainment for you, I promise. Some flying aeroplanes, albeit not ones that are happening live. Aeroplane you can hear behind me is the Moth there. I'm just trying to sort out a cable behind me. Not very professional, Ian. So yeah, flying has been pushed back an hour to 2:15 British summertime to make the best of what we hope will be a bit of a weather window in the afternoon. So looking forward to that. And in terms of aeroplanes we've got flying, I can see a long line of good few Spitfires, 3 of them out there. The P40, Wildcats out there, NHS Spitfire, and Bouchon, and there's another Bouchon we may get back in from Headcorn, where it seems like a lot of Warbirds seem to end up getting stuck. And we've also got the P51 there. Chipmunk and the Moth as well due to fly together, which would be lovely to see. But as I say, and the extra 300 who's tucked in the end there. Moth heading out. It's nice. There haven't been too many of the sort of pleasure flights occurring this morning, which is always a bit of an indication of the weather conditions. So welcome. I haven't said welcome. Hello, my name's Ian. I run Planes TV. We've been doing these live broadcasts of the flying displays for since the May ones, and they've been a lot of fun. It's lovely to see you all coming along and enjoying them. As I say, we haven't got any flying for a little while. The first thing I must say is thank you to all those who signed up on YouTube to the new membership system there. We do of course have the Planes TV On Demand service at watch.planestv.com, which gives you access to our back catalogue of programmes and is the very best way to support us and get the most out of what we do. But now on YouTube we do also have the membership system where you can spend a few pounds with us per month and have a warm glow in your heart knowing that you're supporting. So John Seymour, fantastic to see you being, I think, our first member, and very fitting that is too, John, long-time supporter, and it's wonderful to see your name popping in the chat. I hope you enjoy the show. And Ryan Evans as well joined up. Ryan, lovely to see you as always. And Chris, who's our wonderful moderator, thank you so much. If there was a way of me honouring Chris with some kind of chief membership system, I would do. I have looked, Chris, but I couldn't find anything. And Simon and Andy as well joining up on the membership system. Thank you both. And I think that's everyone for the time being, but fantastic to see you guys engaging with that. I'll make sure to give you shout outs during the show, and as I say, hopefully it's a way of feeling good about supporting our endeavours coming out to these flying days. So I'm afraid I don't have any flying aeroplanes for you live at the moment, but I do have a few clips from previous shows, as I like to do as we get going on these live broadcasts. And the first one we'll be showing is not something that we produced, actually, not a programme of ours, but of course ordinarily in a normal year we'd have maybe been looking forward to Flying Legends in the very near future. An event that's obviously taken place here at Duxford for many years and due to take place at SciWorld this year. Actually not happening, as we all know, so the last show was Flying Legends 2019. It's one of the programmes that's available on the Planes TV On Demand service, and I've selected a little clip of the Balbo at the end of the flying, at the end, which of course is the sort of climax to all Flying Legends shows, and I thought we'd kick things off with a bit of the Balbo from Flying Legends in 2019. some glorious sights there from Flying Legends in 2019, and yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed for next year, shall we, that we'll see similar scenes. Obviously not at Duxford, but at Sywell. Aircraft starting up behind me, the Rapide, it's all kicking off. I've just had the heads up from Tom Turner, airfield manager here, that things are looking good for kicking things off at 2 o'clock. So we'll have a Wildcat getting airborne at 2, so not long to wait, only 38 minutes for me to fill. Wish me luck. And it is brightening up as well. I think it's a really good decision to make, isn't it? It's always very frustrating at shows where you get to the latter part of the afternoon when maybe we've all struggled through some low cloud and showers and things, and the weather just breaks and you think, why don't we just move everything to the afternoon? Well, that's what's going on today, so wish us luck, fingers crossed. So, I've run through the aircraft that we've got flying. The team we've got here today includes Adam Landau up on wide angle camera. Cut him some slack. I haven't got my old man here today who would normally be involved. He's celebrating granddaughter's birthday, my niece. So we've got Adam up on the wide angle camera, and good old Louis. I dragged him up from Devon. He's tucked away in the caravan, our trailer, doing some live mixing for us. So yeah, we've sort of got into the flow of things with these. Scuppered a little bit today by the delayed start to the flying, but very much hope you're enjoying them. Let's see who's on the chat. If you are watching on YouTube, certainly, please do join the chat on YouTube. I'll be able to monitor that today. It's another little iteration I've made. John, lovely to see you. Oh, the memories of Flying Legends, he says. Yes, wonderful, isn't it? What's a good price on finding a good Chipmunk? Oh, goodness. There's some wheeler dealing Chipmunk sales going on in the chat. Get in there quick, gents, I would say. So another clip then. So we've been covering Duxford shows, I mean, for very many years, and in a minute or two I'm going to show you some really scorching classic jet stuff from the mid-90s, which my old man was shooting back in those days. Backstory, he started the business in the late 80s, and here I am still struggling on. So we'll cover a bit of Duxford year 1995, that's the name of the programme. It covered all the highlights of the Duxford shows that year. But first I thought we'd wind the clock back 10 years to the May Air Show. I've done this a few times on these Flying Days broadcasts, but this one, I don't know, it's a Spitfire and Mustang. It's, I think, Paul and Steve Jones flying the Spitfire and Mustang at the Duxford May Air Show 10 years ago. Let's take a look at that one.
Machine company pair, the Spitfire LF9B and the P51D Mustang. Both of those aircraft late additions to the flying programme. Dave Harvey was at the controls of the Hurricane and John Romain the Bouchon. Our thanks to both of them, a pair of classic Duxford Warbirds. And talking of such, here from the left, two more. A truly magnificent pairing from one of the greatest Warbird operators of them all, the old Flying Machine Company, the Spitfire LF9B and the P51D Mustang.
the Spitfire and Mustang there from Duxford's May Air Show in 2011, and we're hoping to see both types today. I spotted someone in the chat say, is this the best of, or is this a real air show? Oh no, believe me, we are here live at Duxford for some live flying, and all being well, we'll get that in just a little while. The types we'll see, I'll run through the running order. We expect to get the Wildcat airborne at 2 p.m. Local time. That will be join the P40 and Spitfire Mark 5 for a display, let's say, but the three aircraft taking to the skies together. Then we are hoping to see Rod Dean display the Firefly. He's transiting here and dodging showers like everybody else, so wish him luck, and hopefully we'll see that aircraft, followed by the lovely Chipmunk and Fox Moth out there. Spotted someone saying in the chat the Chipmunk is their favourite aeroplane, so you're in for a treat there. Two aircraft, no doubt, looking pretty special together. An interesting favourite aircraft, if I may say so, but yeah, a lovely aeroplane that we're looking forward to seeing. There's a gap in the running order then. It may or may not happen. we're juggling through the weather today, so picking spots, picking weather. If there's some decent weather and looks like there's some bad stuff coming our way, perhaps the guys will bring the items that are due to fly after the break a little earlier. Those being the extra 300, parked up looking very sharp out there. Nice to see some aerobatics today, wouldn't it? And hopefully, actually the cloud's not too bad. It's breaking up and warming up. We've got all sorts today. Bit of sunshine, I can see blue, I can see grey. It's actually quite nice conditions for video. Get a bit of contrast in the sky, a bit of light on the aeroplanes. It's just that threat of rain that you do just worry about in an outside broadcast situation, as I nervously look around figuring out what's going to get wet. We're all waterproof, we're fine, apart from me. So, extra 300, hoping to squeeze in some aerobatics under the greyish skies. Then a battle formation. I like the sound of this. Someone's getting imaginative. So we've just seen the P51 and Spitfire from Duxford in May in 2011. We'll have similar. Actually, that probably will be MH434 looking at this, I think. Don't hold me to that. And then the P51, different P51, yes, I think. And joined by a 109, Bouchon presumably. So again, a nice three-ship display. Looking forward to that. You know, it's not every day you get to go out to an airfield and watch those three aircraft take to the skies together. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And then bringing the show to a close at the end. What was to be 6 minutes past 3, but will be 6 minutes past 4, I suspect, possibly a bit earlier, is the NHS Spitfire. It'd be very nice to see that in the skies, which I haven't done yet, despite my best efforts of catching a glimpse as the aircraft took to the skies and overflew very many NHS locations throughout the UK last year. We've had a close-up look this morning to see all the signatures on the aircraft there. A wonderful endeavour last year, and fabulous to see that aeroplane here on display at Duxford for the flying day today. Right, I am still filling a little bit. As I say, we're getting the Wildcat airborne in just under half an hour. I did see Gemma on the YouTube chat wishing me luck at filling this time before we go live. So thank you, Gemma, for that. And James, thank you for joining as a supporter on. Oh, bless you all. Everyone's been very generous today. You must be looking at the rainfall radar, thinking he's going to get soaked today. I'm going to chuck a tenner in the pot. Thank you, Andy Baird, for that. You've been a long time supporter, I know, and I'm really grateful for. Yeah, all the support anyone can give at the moment. James Jerry as well joined as a member, thank you so much. And Chris, you must stop sending me money, Chris. Your time and effort moderating the chat is more than I could ask anyone to spend their time doing. But thank you for your super chat, it's very kind. So, what have we got coming up? Remind myself. I promised I'd take you back to some classic jet action in the mid-90s. I can't tell you whether I was at these air shows, but the Sabre we used to see here very often, the Mark A, operated by Golden Apple, and also the MiG-15 used to operate out of here as well. Do you know, I don't know where that MiG is these days. Whenever I say this, there's always someone in the chat who can fill in the details, so feel free as we head back in time to 1995, the airshow season here at Duxford. This is a clip from our Duxford year 1995 featuring the Sabre and the MiG-15.
Retired military jets are appearing more and more at shows, and the OFMC are in the vanguard. Their F-86 is the only example of this most important jet fighter flying in Europe. Its exploits against the technically superior MiG-15 in the Korean War are legendary. An example of the Saber's arch-enemy joined the OFMC this year, but the much-heralded dogfight was going to have to wait. They had a starting problem. Fortunately, that wasn't the The original Soviet specification in 1946 for a jet fighter was quite stringent, but the MiG-15 prototype comfortably exceeded it, thanks, in part, to the Rolls-Royce Nene engine. The Cold War was yet to materialize. It was technically superior to the F-86 Sabre, but in combat in Korea, the better trained American pilots achieved a 5-to-1 kill ratio. This MiG was license-built in Czechoslovakia and served with the Polish Air Force until 1992. Its two-seat configuration is not for training, but for the forward air control of accompanying fighters. This just has to be the ultimate jet warbird. Mark Hanna flew this very Phantom from Port Stanley Airfield in the Falkland Islands, but the chances of flying it again are now low due to complex US military and CAA regulations. The OFMC do at least keep its systems in working order, so the chance is there.
Some pretty jazzy MiG flying there. I think, did it say it was a depressed day? Yeah, sort of thing we don't get to do anymore. Although I should say, I have been having a lot of fun recently out filming aeroplanes, which has been a rarity over the last 18 months. I've been doing lots of pre-production work for the Virtual Air Tattoo, which takes place in just 2 weeks' time. We've currently got a lot of editing work to go through on the quite a lot of video we've been out recording. I won't spoil it for you, but some nice behind the scenes with from Mildenhall, refuelling with KC-135s. Visited Greenham Common with a bunch of the guys who used to run the Air Tattoo show when it was run down at Greenham. So some really nice history there for what is the 50th anniversary of the first Air Tattoo. And in fact, if you want to go and understand a little bit more about that Air Tattoo, don't go and watch it now, because this is, stick around and watch this broadcast. But there's a nice video I've just done for Air Tattoo of a meeting we had at North Weald at the tail end of May, which was the exact day, 50 years on from the first Air Tattoo taking place at North Weald. So a bit of the backstory of that event there, if you are interested. Not yet though, watch this broadcast, stick around, join as a member, do all of those things. And thanks again to all of you it's lovely to see so many of you signing up for that. It's another little way of making these things a bit more commercially viable. That Phantom at Duxford, quite right, John. Where's that one then? That must probably still here, is it? Tucked away. And Mark Hanna in the MiG, yes, flying like only the Hannas did. And lovely bit of classic footage, James says. Full throttle is a no-go. I don't know what that's to do with, probably on the MiG. Yes, all good. So, as I say, we are going to see an air show, ladies and gents. Don't worry. There will be some flying, I'm sure. If only Tiger Moth and repeats. No, it'll be more interesting than that. I will run through the programme just one more time for anyone that's just joined. This is the way that these live broadcasts tend to go. There's a sort of gradual increase in viewers as we come toward the flying display, which will start at not 2 but 2 o'clock. We'll get the Wildcat airborne just prior to the main flying display starting a few minutes later with the P40, the Spitfire, and joined by the Wildcat. And then Firefly is hopefully landing on from somewhere else, having dodged the showers prior to the Fox Moth and Chipmunk taken to the air. Then the Firefly display. Then there'll be a gap, or maybe there won't, and we'll have the extra, throwing some aerobatics in under the cloud, or what will be blue sky by then, I say categorically, with his fingers crossed. We might be getting rained on at that point now, I've jinxed it. And then we'll have 109. Does that say 2 P51? Oh, 2 Bouchon, okay. So 2 109s, P51 and Spitfire. Hey, this is an air show, ladies and gents. They won't call it an air show around here, this is a flying day. Differentiate this compared to the late July air show. That being an air show. Obviously a longer flying display. We're looking at a couple of hours of flying today. Maybe with the odd gap. But yeah, a less action-packed day than the real air shows here at Duxford, and there are still tickets available for that, by the way. There won't be for long. The late July air show here at Duxford, we'll see the Red Arrows, Typhoon. Really looking forward to that show. I'm not sure if I can go public with what we've just agreed with the guys we'll do on the in terms of live broadcasting from that show. I'll just confirm that before I do, but I would like to tell you what we're doing so you're in the loop. So it's those 4 aircraft, 2 109s, P51 Spitfire, and then finishing the flying display will be the NHS Spitfire. It'll be wonderful to see that in the air. And there's activity out there, people hovering around that P40. If Adam could hear me, I'd tell him to are there people out by the P40 there, Adam? You grab a shot of it. It's nice to see a bit of action out by the aircraft, things looking positive. Probably more focused on the Wildcat, which has its canopy back. I'm directing whilst presenting here. Yeah, all right, stick to the Wildcat look. I think we've got pilot on board. All right, so all looking positive for a bit of flying this afternoon. The reason I'm filling so much is things have shifted back an hour to make the most of the better weather in the later afternoon. And in fact, there we go. Wildcat starting up there. It's all happening. Good stuff. All right, well, we'll enjoy the sight of the Wildcat running up, but also a bit more 90s action I thought we'd enjoy. Sounds like Lou's ready. Bit more 90s action, bit more jet action. So that's the one thing we have been missing so far. I've been lucky enough to be filming a few jets recently, but not seen any at an air show for a very long time. So I thought we'd head back to 95 again for 2 more, I suppose what we'd now consider to be classic jets. That being the Tornado F3 and the Jaguar. Let's take a look.
I wonder if one of these will ever fly in private hands. The Tornado F3 is, of course, the RAF's current frontline interceptor and comes from 56 Reserve Squadron at Coningsby. Flight Lieutenant Matt Hawkins and Navigator Flight Lieutenant John Hancock have a difficult job showing off the F3 against such agile performers as the F-16, because the F3 is optimized for engagement beyond the visual range, using its Fox Hunter, multi-mode radar and Skyflash missiles. Turn rates and power to spare just aren't necessary if your plan is not to become a visual target. The Jaguar production program was the first international collaboration between France and Britain, and it produced a very successful aircraft which exported to several countries. For the second year, the RAF's Jaguar display is in the capable hands of Flight Lieutenant Andy Cubbin of No. 16 Reserve Squadron at RAF Lossiemouth.
Some gorgeous stuff there, which I've forgotten. I'm not actually watching what you're seeing, so I'm having a little moment of having got up too early and got to bed too late, of forgetting what I've just pressed play on. But Tornado F3 and Jaguar, and I like how that started with, I wonder if we'll ever see a Tornado F3 in private hands. It's like, no, sadly. I suppose you can never say never, but pretty complex aircraft that I don't anticipate seeing in private hands. Certainly, it's interesting, isn't it, looking back on the 90s and the Sabre, the MiG, the Phantom. They're thinking about getting the Phantom airborne in private hands, and even considering the idea of an F3. Sadly, jets have not gone in a positive direction in private hands, shall we say. Sad to say. Wonderful to see everyone joining in the chat. Lovely to see Steve, Wings TV channel, who produced the Flying Legends programme that we watched at the outset. My thanks to you, Steve, for allowing us to make that part of the on-demand service on Plains TV. Don't worry about that, Louis. Good to see Steve. And who did I want to say a big thank you to? Mike Rimmer, who said on the chat, and by the way, if you are watching on YouTube or indeed Facebook, do join the chat, although I'm only monitoring the YouTube chat just because I've got enough to do today without multiple chat things going on, and YouTube always seems the more popular one, so that's where my focus is. Lovely to see Mike Rimmer saying he's just subscribed to the on-demand service. That's at watch.plainstv.com. That's the service that gives you the opportunity to watch back the full programmes of what we've been previewing this afternoon. Our back catalogue of not everything, but gradually bringing everything to that service. I have currently got tapes, I kid you not, stacked floor to ceiling. My dad having moved out of his old house, I've now got all the old tapes, including the original rushes. And to give you an idea of what that includes, a 20-minute tape is about that size, about that thick, from the mid-90s. So I have boxes and boxes of these things. It's only the master tapes that I'm going to make an effort on, I confess. But yeah, the on-demand service, wonderful. Mike, thank you so much for signing up. That's at watch.planestv.com. It's the very best way to support the work that we do, and it gives you access to our back catalogue and maybe some other live shows coming up in the near future. Yeah, head over to watch.planestv.com. There's currently a free trial, a 7-day free trial, so you can try out the service. It fills some of your evenings with some aviation action from years gone by. Everything we've produced from the last 9 years, nearly 10, is on the service, and as I say, lots more from the mid-90s and similar periods. Okay, Simon Wilson, who signed up as a member, is saying hello. Hello Simon, lovely to see you here. And James, the Tornado F3. Yeah, all good stuff. So the Wildcat's running up there. It's all looking positive. We're expecting him to get airborne in about 12 minutes' time. As I say, oh, Chris, lovely to see you. It seems OFMC's MiG-15 vintage GMG is now in a museum in Brazil. And I like the way you started that message, Chris. So I said earlier, I'm not sure where that MiG-15's ended up. And it looks like Chris Jansen, who's a good friend, has been doing a bit of Googling and discovered that it's now in a museum in Brazil. Sad to say. Wildcat rolling forward. Fantastic to see. I'm going to get an air show, ladies and gents. And the cloud has lifted nicely, actually. Looking positive. FCC wandering out. Oh, going to get an air show. Good stuff. All right, well, we'll come back to the Wildcat in just a few minutes as he's getting airborne. Perhaps we'll enjoy him taxiing now. But if Louise prepped it, I had one last clip I hadn't anticipated, ladies and gents, filling a full hour prior to going live with some live flying this morning. But I do have one last little clip. We started the broadcast with a bit from Flying Legends 2019, and I'm making the point that the on-demand service has material from much longer ago as well, so mid-90s stuff, which I really enjoy. You know, that period for me is wonderful to look back on, some fantastic nostalgia, types we don't see anymore. And I thought it'd be interesting to look back on the Flying Legends show from 1996. It's a programme available on the on-demand service, and I didn't get a chance to pick a clip out, so very lazily we're going to press play on the beginning of it. We're going to let you enjoy a few minutes, and then we'll come back to the live flying once we get things started here. So enjoy this from Flying Legends in 1996.
Man has waged war for thousands of years, but it is only in this century that the air has become a battleground. The exploits of the brave new breed of soldier and the aeroplanes they flew are still in many people's memories, and for others they are already legends. Aviation technology advanced rapidly through World War I, and the aircraft really came of age as an effective fighting weapon in World War II. The legends born in that era are relived every year at the Flying Legends Air Show at Duxford. The Flying Legends Air Show at Duxford is truly a legend in itself, not only for bringing together a staggering variety of piston-powered classic aircraft, most from the World War II era, but also in presenting them in a series of seamless scenarios. The event is quite literally action-packed, and this video aims to capture it all. We followed the display sequence as it happened, and include every aircraft that flew. We keep narration short in favor of the location sound in hi-fi stereo, but we do include comments and recollections of some of the show visitors. Please excuse the occasional error of fact that they make, but then that's a part of any legend. Aviation Action is pleased to present the Fighter Collection's Flying Legends Air Show 1996.
Looks like Wildcat's taxiing out, so we'll enjoy him taking off. He's going off to a bit of flying prior to the flying starting in just a few minutes. So let's enjoy his takeoff, and then we'll do a bit more chit chat. Have ourselves an air show, ladies and gents. Wildcat going off into the hold, coming back in about, we're airborne a little early, so I'm going to guesstimate here probably about 10 or 15 minutes we'll have Wildcat back. Shortly we'll be seeing the Spitfire and P40, I hope, preparing to get airborne as well. Starting shortly, Adam says, so P40 and Spitfire, lovely. All right, well, hopefully Adam's got a shot of those guys, and we will come back to any live flying, but in the interim I thought we might go back to Flying Legends 1996. Oh, I'm just looking over there at the Spitfire and P40, wondering whether we should just stick with them. It's the live aviation you're here for, it's the live aviation I'm here for. Should we just focus our efforts on standing and staring like everyone else at airplanes? Not doing very much at the moment, but in anticipation of engines whirring and smoke billowing. Let's stay with them, shall we, ladies and gents? You've got the idea here. We're filling time a little, but we're excited to see what might be happening in the very near future. As I say, Spitfire and P40 about to start, and they'll be getting airborne to join up with the Wildcat, which we've just seen take to the air. I'll continue rabbiting whilst we sit, stare and wait. If you're watching on YouTube, do like the video. Now's a very good time to do that. Just gives YouTube a little message really that we're worth watching, and you might turn to me and say, Ian, but we haven't seen any real live aviation air displays yet. You're not worth watching. Well, I dispute that. I think I'm worth a like. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a share as well, and do subscribe on YouTube. It's a nice way of keeping up to date with what we are doing on that platform. Very best way to keep in touch with us though would be the email newsletter. There's a link in the description. You can sign up for our email newsletter, and I say our, it is me. Planes TV is currently a one-man band pretty much, although of course supported I'm very grateful for the support I have from this little team of merry men we have here today, and of course my old man sticks his oar in now and then. Email newsletter, I send that out personally and you can reply to it. It's a two-way conversation. It's not just me trying to sign you up to my on-demand service constantly. Some may dispute this, the email newsletter is a really nice way of keeping in touch, and as I say, making it a bit of a two-way conversation. I quite like getting the suggestions of events I might want to go to and things that are occurring. And it's just nice to, frankly, hear that people are enjoying what we do. It's one of the things I meant to say to Mike. Was it Mike earlier on the chat, saying that he signed up for the on-demand service, loves everything that we do. It's just so nice to hear that, Mike. Thank you for taking the time to Mike Rimmer, thank you for taking the time to send that message, and I'll keep trying to do my best. It's a bit of a struggle at the moment because, as you know, we've lost our larger shows that we'd normally rely on to keep things ticking over for 2 seasons. So it's all interesting. But we are here, we're seeing some live flying, very much looking forward to the July air show here at Duxford. And the following weekend, I'm heading off to a new event to Old Buckenham, doing a live broadcast from that show. And very excited about that. It's an event I've wanted to get to for very many years. And it's one of the benefits, if we can look at the silver lining of this particular cloud, it's one of the benefits of the large air shows not taking place and me not producing any long 60-minute DVD programs. Means we can get out to some of the smaller air shows. We're not all sat at computers editing at the time that some of the nice events are taking place in the latter part of July and August. So looking forward to getting out to Old Buckenham at the end of the month for a couple of days of some flying action there. August's looking a little quiet, but then again September, who knows where we'll be, ladies and gents, but September you just hope that things like the Duxford show and others, Cosfords are lined up for that month. I need to talk to the guys there. Yeah, we're certainly hoping to get some sort of bigger events by September. Certainly I hope to see a full audience here at Duxford. Wouldn't that be nice to see again? Although saying that, it always lovely to see these flying days, which I really recommend coming to. You know, they're free to members. As Adam pointed out this morning, you know, 60 quid for the year, and how many air shows do we get? Oh, he can't hear me. I think you've got 10 air shows, you know, for 60 quid. It's not bad going if you come to all of them. And of course you get first dibs on the larger air show tickets as well. So IWM membership, very well worth thinking about. Well done, Woody W. Well worth staying for. What's he staying for? Oh, New Zealand, 1 a.m. Woody, hats off to you, sir. I hope we haven't dragged you away from a late night YouTube session has brought you to us, I'm sure. Welcome, Woody. Lovely to see New Zealand tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the Warbird action we are anticipating. And I can hear the Wildcat burbling away behind the airfield to the north-ish. Yeah, we're looking forward in a moment to getting the... Okay, P40 starting up. Good stuff. P40's trying to start up. I'm sure. Second time's a charm. Toady. Glorious sight and sound of the P40 starting up there, and Spitfire soon to follow, I'm sure. Both aircraft will be getting airborne and joining the Wildcat for the first display of this afternoon. Nice 3-ship potentially. Glorious stuff, and I hope you can hear that burbling away. You, or dear audience, can be my rather circuitous route of talking to Louis, who's balancing out all the audio levels here. It'll be nice to hear from you that you can hear the aeroplanes burbling away there. Nice stereo sound here, so if you're watching on a TV, you've got your stereo, 5.1 system set up, you should get a really good sense of aeroplanes flying left to right. We do make an effort on the audio as much as the video, of course. Have the red arrows displayed yet? They might have done somewhere, but not here. No red arrows today, I'm afraid. Although I'll see what I can do on that. I was attempting to ingest a video earlier just for that purpose. It seems a shame not to have a red arrows display at an air show, doesn't it? So I will try and bring one in at the end, but it might be a bit too much of a stretch. Needs more mixture. And someone suggesting Old Warden. I would dearly love to go to Old Warden. I've sent messages, had no reply. East Kirkby is a very good suggestion, and you remind me I must get in touch. I've lost my free accommodation in Lincolnshire recently, my folks having moved out. But I would love to get up to East Kirkby. I must get in touch. And Connor, lovely to see you joining the chat really early today. It's my first indication that we're going to have a bit of an audience, because you're never quite sure when it comes to these things. It was nice to see Connor in the chat early on, and got him saying that Clacton-on-Sea, the sun is coming out. Hopefully it's coming our way. I echo that, and it certainly feels like it is. It's certainly warm. That's a glorious sight, isn't it? And we must thank Adam for that. He's up on camera too for the first time. I've thrown him in right at the deep end, bringing him into the team as just gaining a bit of experience with cameras and things. And to be doing that in a live environment has its added pressures, but he's a sharp kid. We'll do all right today, I'm sure. What did I spot in the chat just then? Nice to see the P40. We have Judy Pays, P40F here in Australia. She's a pretty girl. Australia as well. This is fantastic. And Boston, UK. Hello, Les. Hey, fantastic. It's good to see people tuning in from all over the world. Just had a purchase on the website from Singapore as well. I don't know if you're watching, Kenny, but nice of you to make that purchase if you are indeed watching the broadcast. And Cara, lovely to see you in the chat as always. I ask, are Plains TV doing Duxford Air Festival? We will live broadcast Duxford Air Festival. You may need to be an on-demand subscriber to view it though. More on that later. BBMF Lancaster is going to be leaving Dux at the end of July. Ooh, I wonder if that'll coincide with the air show. We'll see. So yes, just a few minutes till we get the live flying proper. Gosh, this has been a long hour, hasn't it, of Phil? I hope we've provided some entertainment. I hope you're still watching, everybody, and still looking forward to the actual flying display rather than me rabbiting on. In summary of all the things we've covered, we filmed air shows a lot over 30 years. You can watch a lot of them on watch.plainstv.com. You can watch some more of them this afternoon with us as they get airborne here at Duxford. And yes, do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. There's one addition to that, is you can now join as a member on YouTube. That provides a little bit extra financial support, and that's no bad thing. Just parachecks down the end of the runway there. Who's flying these today? Good question, Joshua. Let me find out for you. I don't know, Joshua, is the answer. I didn't spot who got in the aeroplanes. I don't suppose Adam did either. Fantastic seeing the Wildcat hurtling around to the north. Ooh, a few spits of rain on my leg, but okay, yeah, I see those, Louis. He's giving me some pilots' names. We'll find out at the end of the display. I'll make sure to find out for you, Joshua. Maybe you can have a guess. I often find that you can kind of tell who's flying an aeroplane based on the style of flying. Perhaps you can too. And yeah, if you want to have a stab at who you think's flying, it would be interesting to see your thoughts. I think I saw Goldspink, Joshua says. I think you might be right. Okay. glorious sight and sound. I hope you're enjoying this, ladies and gents. The sun shines out. There's a bit of dark sky. I think, yeah, we're in for some good video this afternoon. It's something I always look for, a bit of contrast in the sky. You'll have heard me, if you're a regular viewer, talk about this regularly. I like to see the contrast in the sky. Bit of blue, bit of grey, bit of white. Actually, a forecast like this, minus the lightning, it's often quite good. You know, you get the relatively clear air if you do get a bit of a shower. I shouldn't say that. I really don't want to get wet, but I'll take it if it clears the air and makes things a little sharper. Yes, Setchi saying Stu Goldspink in the P40, and we've got South Africa, Doug in South Africa viewing as well. This is fantastic. Lovely international audience to complement the 1,000 or so people we have here at the Flying Day. I was saying earlier it would be nice to see a full show here in late July, and indeed, well, not full in terms of audience numbers. We won't have a full audience here in July, but it will be a much larger one than we have here at the Flying Day. But wouldn't a full audience at September be a wonderful thing? A clear sign to me anyway that we're back to normal. 60,000 people in a footy stadium doesn't count in my eyes. It's air shows that matter. Oh, fantastic to see so many of you joining. Well, we're about to get going with the flying action. Hopefully you can see the aircraft forming up behind. Well, you won't be able to see it, but potentially here, the P40, Spitfire and Wildcat all forming up in the background. Okay, so popcorn at the ready, ladies and gents. I hope you're suitably refreshed, ready for a couple of hours of flying. More suitably refreshed than I've managed. Not I managed my lunch. So yeah, let's have one last run through the running order, or one last sales push. How's that? So if you enjoy what you see here today, you can watch very many more of our programs, our back catalogue of programs at watch.planestv.com. But do subscribe here on YouTube or like the Facebook page to keep up to date with future live broadcasts. The very best way of keeping in touch with us is the Plains TV newsletter. You'll find a link in the description below to that. What other bits did I want to talk about? No, I think that's it really. IWM membership is a very nice way to support the museum, but also get access to the museum and these events. So Flying Days, these short air shows. So today's broadcast will be a relatively short one, just a couple of hours of flying. These are free to members, so £5 a month I think it is. Might be a bit more, don't quote me. Check the website, T's and C's. But yeah, free access available. You have to sign up for a ticket, let them know you're coming, because there are limits, and these have all sold out. Tickets have sold out for all of these Flying Days, and it's a wonderful way to come and enjoy the airfield, come and enjoy a bit of flying. IWM membership. So looking forward to the 3-ship of P40, Spitfire and Wildcat shortly. We'll have Firefly joining us, hopefully. Fox, Moth and Chipmunk displaying together. Wonderful bit of aerobatics from the Extra 300, hopefully. And 4-ship battle formation. 2 109s, P51 and Spitfire Mark 9 later on, and then the PR NHS Spitfire closing the show later on today. That is due to take place. These timings have probably gone to pot now, because we've, as you may have understood, we have pushed the flying back an hour to take advantage of the better conditions that we are now experiencing. The cloud has lifted. There is rain on the horizon. I shouldn't have said it, should I? I am going to get wet at some point. But there's also blue in the sky over my shoulder. That's a wonderful sight. At any air show, I'm sure you will agree. So I think I'll just take a moment and maybe stuff a sandwich in my mouth before I do my main job, which will be hopping onto the main camera for the flying display. I'll leave you with whatever Louis can find for you to view whilst we await the arrival of the 3-ship of P40, Wildcat and what got airborne? Spitfire.
Wildcat, Wildcat is an American carrier-based fighter aircraft that began service in 1940 with the United States Navy and the British Royal Navy, where it was initially known as the Martlet. Opponent in the early part of the Pacific Theatre, but held its own partly because, with relatively heavy armour and self-sealing fuel tanks, the Grumman airframe could survive far more damage than its lightweight, unarmoured Japanese rival. Wildcat was built by the General Motors Corporation at Trenton, New Jersey, for the United States Navy in 1945. However, it was immediately placed into storage and subsequently struck off Navy charge in 1946. It went through a series of private owners and eventually was bought by the Fighter Collection in 1993. It was shipped to Duxford in April of the same year, and it flies wearing the scheme of a Fleet Air Arm Wildcat on board HMS Tracker in 1944. Mark 5B is one of the most credited historic aircraft left in the world, with an impressive 7 confirmed kills. This aircraft was built at the Castle Bromwich factory, where she was probably flown by the legendary pilot Alex Henshaw. She was taken on charge by the RAF in May 1942 and assigned later to 501 Squadron the following month, and scored 6 of her confirmed kills with squadron leader Geoffrey Northcote at the helm. A ground collision saw her return to Castle Bromwich for repair, and in April 1944 she was taken on charge with 402 Squadron, City of Winnipeg, Royal Canadian Air Force, the colours she flies in today. She served as a ground instructional airframe and a gate guardian at a number of RAF stations until 1967, when she was used as a static aircraft in the Battle of Britain movie. After another period of gate guardian work at RAF Wattisham, she was transported into storage and remained there until she joined the Fighter Collection Fleet in 1993. Curtiss P-40F Warhawk. Fighter Collection's Merlin-engined P-40F is one of only 2 left airworthy anywhere in the world, I believe. It was manufactured at the Curtiss facility in Buffalo, New York, in the autumn of 1942. Although in 1942 she was shipped to the 13th Air Force in the Southwest Pacific, her service career remains a bit of a mystery. But as the only P-40Fs to see combat in the Pacific Theatre were flown by the 44th and 68th Fighter Squadrons, the 347th Fighter Group, in the Solomon Islands, she may have seen service then. Her wartime career ended when she was condemned by the US Army Air Force in November 1943 and dumped on the largest of Vanuatu's islands, Espiritu Santo. The aircraft was eventually recovered from Espiritu Santo in the 1970s and acquired by the Fighter Collection some years later, being stored in Australia until a restoration that was completed in 2011. The lack of information on the Warhawk's service history, it flies in the scheme of Lee's Hope from the 85th Fighter Squadron, 79th Fighter Group, which was Robert in 1944. That was the Warhawk's final pass, and we now have our next display item, the de Havilland formation lining up on the grass to the left.
Hello everyone, welcome to the flying action here at Duxford. If you've just joined us, looking forward to the Fox, Moth and Chipmunk lined up on the runway. And things have improved significantly. If you haven't understood, if you haven't been with us since the start, we delayed flying, or we delayed. The guys here delayed flying for an hour to take advantage of the better conditions, and it's paying off. Lovely display there from the three Warbirds. Well, we just had Spitfire, P40 and the Wildcat. Lovely display from the Wildcat. They're getting nice and low with the backdrop there. If you're just tuning in, hi, I'm Ian. I'm the cameraman, but also occasionally try and vlog you things. So do give the video, if you're enjoying the flying, do give the video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can now join as a member on the YouTube platform, which helps support do what we do, which is live stream air shows. Hopefully you can see the P40 landing. And as I say, about to see the Fox, Moth and Chipmunk take off. Lovely displays there. Really nice to see the three aircraft in formation to begin with, and some lovely solo routines as well. I love the two rolls on the downward, what would it be, a half loop? Couple of rolls there from the spit, clipped wing spit, exercising the accelerated roll rate of that aircraft to take full advantage. Nice and dramatic stuff there. Yeah, we've also got the extra. I dare say we'll see a few more rolls than two in a row from the extra later. And we're hoping to see two Bouchon, P51 and Spitfire Mark 9 later as well. Yeah, if you're enjoying seeing what we do here, do check out our on-demand service at watch.planestv.com. I think we'll get back to the flying action, shall we? I'll do my proper job, point my camera in the general direction of some aeroplanes. Enjoy, everybody.
Mosquito, the DH-88 Racing Comet, the Dove, the Heron, the Dragon Rapide, and of course these two aircraft, the de Havilland Moth and Chipmunk. Of the de Havilland DH-83 Moth is a typically British story at a time when the smaller domestic UK airlines were struggling for want of economical equipment. Arthur Hagg of de Havilland saw the need for low operating costs and delivered a clever solution. His frugal 1931 design for the Moth attached existing Tiger Moth-like wings and tail unit to a large ply fuselage. Deep inside are seated, at a pinch, up to 4 passengers, and the pilot sits behind in an open cockpit with a small window through which he can observe events in the cabin. Incredibly, the Moth was adequately propelled by the same 130 horsepower 4-cylinder Gypsy Major engine as used by mere 2-seater Moth aeroplanes. All this added up to a mini airliner ideally suited to its time, and in particular to pioneering air services in Scotland and New Zealand. This Moth was originally delivered to New Zealand in 1934 and is configured as a speed model because it has a cockpit, canopy and other enhancements. It was severely damaged in 1936 while landing in fog and was repaired finally in 1938, and the registration that it carries now allocated to it as it entered service with air travel at Hokitika on the west coast of South Island, New Zealand. Subsequent ownership, the Fox was wrecked in another accident near Lake Wanaka in 1963. It was put into storage until it was brought to the UK by its current owner, New Zealander Bruce Brodie. After an 18-year restoration project led by Ben and Jan Cooper at Hungerford and completed by Martin Honeychurch, it flew again in 2015. While it had been the owner's intention to ship the restored Moth back to New Zealand, potentially unflown, it seemed a real shame for such an achievement to go unseen in the UK. Thanks to the total cooperation of the respective UK and New Zealand civil aviation authorities, agreeing that for a defined period the Fox may fly in England with only its ZK marks displayed, the way became clear to complete the project under the equally willing auspices of the Light Aircraft Association. Timely grant of its permit to fly in 2015 allowed the Moth to scoop top prizes at the final Woburn Abbey Moth Rally, and in 2015 it was also adjudged both the best vintage and best Havilland aircraft at the LAA Cycle Rally. Its most notable success was being adjudged the concourse winner at the 2016 Freddie March Spirit of Aviation event at the Goodwood Revival. Luckily for us, the owner has encouraged Mark Miller to fly the Fox Moth so that it can be seen by as many people as possible before it returns home to New Zealand. Following the Fox Moth is the de Havilland Chipmunk, which is very fitting in this, the 75th anniversary year of the Chipmunk's first flight. It's a tandem two-seat, single aircraft, primary trainer, and was developed shortly after the Second World War by Canadian aircraft manufacturer de Havilland Canada. It was de Havilland Canada's first post-war aviation project, and it was typically used as a replacement for the Tiger Moth biplane trainer around the world. Some 1,000 Chipmunks were built in the UK at Hatfield and Chester, with more in Canada and about 60-odd in Portugal. During the 1950s and 60s, many Chipmunks were brought onto the British Civil Register by private owners and commercial organisations after they were withdrawn from RAF service. They served a little bit as crop sprayers and also as glider towing tugs, as well as personal transport for those that could afford their own aircraft. This aircraft was built in 1952 at Chester and withdrawn from RAF service in 1974 when it was bought by its current owner at an RAF Kemble disposal sale. It had a very interesting life from the late 70s through to the 90s, providing air experience flights for Pegasus Air Venture Scouts at RAF Wattisham, and it took part in displays there and in Scandinavia. When the Chipmunk's engine time expired in 1994, it was stored here at Duxford, and after a renewal of its airworthiness, it flew again in 2015. Since then, the owners have enjoyed flying it themselves in this country and in Europe, and at various flying events, including as part of the 70th anniversary of the Chipmunk formation in 2016. It went to Warbird this year, also to the 75th anniversary of the first flight of the Chipmunk. In fact, it's only ever had two owners, the RAF and its current owners, the Lower family, and it's based here at the Imperial War Museum in Duxford. de Havilland formation down. That concludes the first half of our display. We'll now take a break for about half an hour or so and get back to you with the second half of the programme around about 3:25.
What a splendid way of starting the flying. A lovely collection of airplanes we've seen this morning, and as Siobhan says, we'll be back with some live flying in just a little while, but I will have some flying airplanes for you. I'm going to play quite a lot of our Flying Legends 1996 show, which is what we started a little while ago whilst we were filling the gap, the air flying display being moved had left. We've got a nice bit of flying action. Louis, do feel free to take the aeroplanes rather than me. I'll carry on chatting over the deafening roar of Gypsy Majors. I hope that wasn't a big faux pas. Does the Foxmoth have the same engine? Someone can tell me in the chat. Speaking of which, it's so lovely to see Michael joining just briefly. Michael, a long-time supporter, and mentioned he's seeing family this weekend and can't join the show. Seems the family have got boring and he's managed to tune in. Lovely to see you joining and becoming a supporter on YouTube as well. That's now available to anyone and everyone over on YouTube. If you are watching there, you can now join us and become a supporter. Pay a little bit of money every month to encourage me to get out to more shows. So Michael's joined over there, and James, and yeah, Brian, lovely to see so many of you digging in your pockets. Good stuff, thank you. And fabulous also to see so many of you from overseas. We've seen South Africa joining, New Zealand and Australia. It's lovely to think that we're spreading a bit of aviation action here in the UK far and wide. Wasn't that a lovely two-ship display? Chipmunk and Foxmoth. Very nice indeed, very nicely put together. Very nice to see in the sky together. Is going to New Zealand. Oh, that's a shame. Ryan saying the Foxmoth is going to New Zealand. Yeah, it's a crazy layout that, isn't it? The pilot outside. I wonder how many you can get in that crew in the passenger compartment. Can't be more than a couple, can it? Surely not. De Havilland Delights, says Chris W. Quite right too. Do join the chat. It's a lovely way of chatting with like-minded aviation enthusiasts whilst we're enjoying the aviation action, and occasionally I'll spot people and try and give you shout-outs, especially if you're a joined-up member. Fabulous to see so many of you. Oh, I'm going to like my own video, why not? Do give the video a little thumbs up. We'll have some more flying action for you in just a little while. So it's a short break now, which is going to allow me to eat a sandwich, which is no bad thing. And to fill it, I thought we might show you a programme we produced in the mid-90s from here at Duxford. It's a Flying Legends show 1996. It's available to view in its entirety on Planes TV On Demand, our on-demand service at watch.plainstv.com. This is a subscription service giving you access to our back catalogue of programmes that we've been producing since the late 80s. Well, not me, I was the A-high, but the old man's products are not all, but gradually becoming available on that service. All of the stuff I've done over the last 9 years, I've done in collaboration with very many people, of course, but all of those programmes are available on that service. So let's take a look. Flying Legends 1996. Let's carry on roughly where we left off. We'll discover shortly where Louis started the programme. But hopefully an enjoyable thing to fill the time whilst we wait for the next bit of flying. I'll just tell you will be, I don't know the time, we were due to have a looks like quite a long gap, 40-minute gap. We'll see when we start stick around, leave it playing. It's good for my YouTube stats. Leave the video running and you'll hear the roar of an extra 300 hopefully when we start the flying again in due course. Don't know when it is, forgive me. Let's take a look at Flying Legends 1996.
We keep narration short in favour of the location sound in hi-fi stereo, but we do include comments and recollections of some of the show visitors. Please excuse the occasional error of fact that they make, but then that's a part of any legend. Aviation Action is pleased to present the Fighter Collection's Flying Legends Airshow 1996. As most show visitors arrive by car, a few dozen arrive in their own flying legend. This Douglas DC-4, a pioneer of international air travel, is owned by the Dutch Dakota Association and is bringing a group of Dutch fans to the show. A feature of the show is the optional flight line walk in the morning. Our cameras met some interesting people.
My name's Andy Clark and I'm a member of the World War II Living History Association, and the task of the club is to actually collect and demonstrate to the public various collections from Allied and Axis forces of World War II. We mainly deal with the period 1943 onwards, from the Italian campaign forward to the end of the war, and we often take part in shows like this as stage dressing, if you like, for these kind of vehicles and equipment.
Well, this is my old divisional sign, the 50th Northumbrian Division that landed on D-Day. We took part in the invasion of Sicily as well, and we were in the Middle East. But it really made my day.
Well, it gives me remembrance when we were occupied in Holland and they flew over. It gave us a lot of hope.
I have a very special reason to coming here, and that's to see the Fighter Collections Harvard, because I'm writing a book about all the Harvards in Swedish Air Force service. And that Harvard is a former Swedish Air Force Harvard, and I know that it has also been based here at Duxford.
It's my birthday today, and my husband has kindly treated me to this day out, and I'm very lucky, am I not?
To the flying then. And first on are the Fighter Collections Cats. Steve Hinton will pilot the new Tiger Cat on its airshow debut. Stephen Gray takes one of the Bearcats. The TFC now boasts a second Bearcat, flown today by Paul Bonhomme. Stuart Goldspink flies the Wildcat. and Steve Privet the Hellcat. No sooner, though, are the Cats ready for takeoff than the next scenario, the Mercury flight, is ready to start. Every serviceable Bristol Mercury engine in the world is at Duxford today, powering 2 Lysanders, a Gladiator and a Blenheim. The Tiger Cat and Bearcats opened Saturday's show. The entire Cat collection opened a grey Sunday.
I'm a volunteer for the fighter collection. I've been working here nearly 3 years. This is my aircraft, the Hellcat. It's an F6F. It's 1945 and was used in the Pacific. This aircraft was actually Alex
The F-8F Bearcat at the opposite end of World War II was too late to see active service. It embodied Grumman's immense experience in the ultimate single-engined lightweight air superiority fleet fighter. When the Tiger Cat has worked up to a full display routine, its amazing aerobatic performance will take it to a flagship position in the TFC fleet. This area of England has become a centre for Mercury engine expertise. The Blenheim and one of the Lysanders are based at Duxford, and the Gladiator is from the nearby Shuttleworth collection. Sabina, the Belgian airline, contribute the very rare second Lysander.
The interesting one for me is the old Gladiator behind us, because we had those on board when on the aircraft carrier Formidable we went to attempt to sink the Tirpitz that was in the Norwegian fjord in the early part of the war. Not very successfully, as by the time the fleet approached the Norwegian coast, the Germans had already got us on their radars, so the thing was a mass of smoke and we could hardly see anything, like, you know. We did manage to hit a destroyer, I'm told. I say we, I wasn't a pilot, but you know, I'm talking to the pilots who used to tell us when we got back.
It's nice to see the Blenheim here, and when it first started off in World War II, it was quite a prominent aircraft, but as the war went on, it started to fall behind the faster fighters, which were out later on in the war. But nevertheless, the crew still used it in frontline action, and even though they suffered heavy losses, they still kept on using it, and it made quite an impact on the war.
John Davies taxis out the de Havilland Mosquito for its display slot. Just a week after this show, John's pilot colleague Kevin Moorhouse and engineer-navigator Keith Watson were tragically killed and the Mosquito destroyed during a display sequence. This is the last genuine example, still airworthy, of the most produced fighter in history, the ME-109. A handful of Merlin-engined versions fly, but this one has an original Daimler-Benz engine.
certainly the two new planes that interest me are the two Lysanders, which for me, I certainly knew on the scene. I suppose it's best known for the fact that it dropped or collected our agents, you know, in France, French or others, you know, is well known for that. But in fact, it had many other roles, I think, and it was a real workhorse, you see. But it's best known, I think, for its trips into France and landing at night and that sort of thing. It all seems a bit iffy to me, but they did it anyhow. More credit to the pilots as well concerned.
Planes that we've got here are all absolutely magic. I love them all to death, but my own favourite, if I had to be honest, and as a lot of people will say this, is the Spitfire.
Yeah, it's the Spitfire. Oh, Spitfire. Spitfire. Spitfire.
And it's the 60th birthday this year, so special for it.
Basically, I've come to Duxford to see Black 6. An uncle of mine flew for the Luftwaffe.
This newly restored Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer is a welcome newcomer to the air show circuit. Air Atlantique flies several vintage transport aircraft, and all earn their keep commercially. The first Spitfires up are the two Fighter Collection Mark 14s. A further 8 Spitfires were rostered to fly in this sequence. Sadly, 2 developed snags.
Black 6 was found in the Libyan Desert in 1942, stored for many years by the Royal Air Force, put back together by Russ Snadden and team. Exceptional quality restoration project. It actually took 17 years to restore. First flew here in 1991.
Caroline Grace's two-seat Mark 9T was the first away, and here Keith Skilling taxis the Fighter Collection's Mark 9. ML417 is credited with several kills. Andy Sefton flies David Pennell's Mark 9. The fighter many operational sorties, claiming several ME-109s, an FW-190 and a Dornier 217. The TFC Mark V flew many operational sorties, claiming several ME-109s, an FW-190 and a Dornier 217. Rob's Lamplow's Mark 8 is the only one flying in the UK.
Yeah, I'm especially pleased to see the Mosquito. As a boy, I was evacuated to Hatfield, which was a rather stupid place because there was de Havillands there. And I saw the prototype flying, all painted in yellow. It was a beautiful sight. And when I arrived, this one was flying around, so it's a tremendous sight for me, great thrill.
I'm particularly pleased to see the Mosquito here because when I was about 11 or 12, my father made
Hello everyone, welcome back to the second part of today's Flying Days. I'm sorry about all the chopping and faffing with that VT that was just running of Flying Legends Airshow 1996. I hope it didn't detract too much from your enjoyment of it and your anticipation for the live flying, which is what we are here for. I won't go into the details about the technical faff we were having. A lesson learned about one particular drive speed, but we're looking forward now to getting back into the live flying. Thank you for sticking around as I faffed around with some video that wasn't playing ball. Lovely to see so many of you doing so, sticking around. Looking forward. I think we're getting extra first, but perhaps the Warbird's airborne first. I can't hear the PA from where I am, so perhaps she's just said flying lesson on Sunday. Oh wow. Oh, James, that's a shame. Looking forward to a flying lesson last Sunday. Couldn't do it because of the weather. That's always the way. Get used to it, I'm afraid. MH434 taxiing out quite right. And the solo Bouchon and P51 as well. We were due 2 Bouchon, one of which was due to fly in from elsewhere Was it one of the ones stuck at Heck On? I don't know. But I have no signs, and maybe it'll just appear and attack the airfield in a moment, and I'll be caught unawares and miss it. Or maybe we won't get that aeroplane and it'll just be the 3. Either way, looking forward to the second half of the flying, and I'll run you through what we are expecting. So it is the extra and the battle, what's listed here as battle formation, which I think we can certainly say we're going to get one Bouchon, B-51 and Spitfire. And the Spit's starting up. I wonder if Andy can see that. Andy. Oh, I've got it on my camera. Well done, Louis. Behind the chippy there. The Spitfire starting up. Completing the flying display after extra 300 and the 3 or 4 ship. We'll have the NHS Spitfire closing the show. Very much looking forward to seeing that in the air, which I haven't done yet, despite my best efforts. So thanks again for joining with us, and thanks again for those of you that did sit through me faffing with video, cutting to still frames and all sorts during that break. Let's just say I'm glad it happened during a break. The other Bouchon was from Sywell, says the message. Black 6. Oh, there's a good story behind Black 6. You can look that up elsewhere, Samuel. And who else is joining us in the chat? Do join in the chat. It's quite fun having a conversation about what's going on, and yeah. If you're not getting out to our shows, and I saw a couple of messages which were lovely to see, people saying thank you, goodness, who was it? Mickey's Wings Across Sky, goodness me, Saz saying thank you for the stream. Me and my fiance have been missing air shows, as we all have, Saz. So seeing our streams is curing the airshow itch. Well, I'm glad we're scratching that itch, because that is the aim of the game here, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it, Saz, and others as well. If you are enjoying it, do give the video a thumbs up, which I have done. Yeah, I've given my own video a thumbs up. Am I subscribed to myself? Yes, I am. Check. So do subscribe. Do give it a like. Subscribing just hopefully gives you a heads up of when we're next live. And if you're watching on Facebook, I'm assuming people are. I haven't paid much attention to Facebook. Forgive me, guys. Juggling enough as it is. I'm focusing on the YouTube chats. But if you're watching on Facebook, do like the Facebook page. Hopefully keep you up to date with when we're next live, which will be in 2 weeks' time. Which will be... Is that right? That doesn't sound right. Oh, yes, it will be in 2 weeks' time, because I'll be doing the virtual air tattoo 2 weeks today, which you should tune in for on the Air Tattoos YouTube page. Check out airtattoo.com for more details on that. I won't be... there'll be a professional presenter, shall we say, doing that. I'll just be sort of producing the show, and I've been recording lots of interesting material for that. The 50th anniversary of Air Tattoo, sadly not able to take place as a full flying display, but we're looking forward to producing a virtual Air Tattoo for you in a couple of weeks. 3 weeks' time, we'll be back here at Duxford. As I say, signing up, subscribing, but most importantly of all, joining the email newsletter. That will keep you up to date with what we're doing. What we're doing now is hopping on the camera to film a Bouchon, B-51 and a Spitfire taking off. Oh, there's Spitfire. Where is he? Yeah, he is. Alright guys, enjoy the afternoon, enjoy the last few flying displays. I'll hop on at the end to say thank you for joining, and cheerio.
9B MH434, the Fighter Collections Spitfire Mark 5B that we saw flying earlier, the aircraft restoration companies Buchon Yellow 10, and the Mustang Contrary Mary. Old Flying Machine Company's Spitfire Mark 9B was built in 1943, Vickers, Castle Bromwich. It's remarkably original, having had an exceptionally continuous history and only one sympathetic restoration. For its inaugural flight in August 1943, it was air tested by the legendary pilot Alex Henshaw. And after over 80 operational sorties, it was stood down from the RAF in 1945 in March. After that, she saw service with the Royal Netherlands Air Force in 1947 before crash landing in Java. After some time in storage and then repair, she was used as a training aircraft by the Belgian Air Force. In 1956, she was put up for sale and brought back to Britain. After a couple of different owners, she was sold at auction to its most illustrious owner, Ray Hanna, and became one of the Old Flying Machine Company's founding aircraft. She flies in authentic 222 squadron codes. Various film and television credits over the years include Operation Crossbow, The Battle of Britain, A Bridge Too Far, and the TV miniseries Piece of Cake, which included Ray Hanna flying the Spitfire under a river bridge in County Durham. On the tail of MH434 is the Buchon Yellow 10. This aircraft was built in Seville in 1959 and was one of 27 purchased from the Spanish Air Force by Spitfire Productions for use in the making of the 1968 film Battle of Britain. undertaken by Texan pilot and aircraft collector Wilson Connie Edwards as payment for flying services during the film. It was subsequently acquired by the Old Flying Machine Company, arriving at Duxford in 1996, and was sold on to the Real Aircraft Company at Breeton in Yorkshire, who initiated a full rebuild to airworthy condition. Came back to Duxford to be maintained by the Aircraft Restoration Company and has appeared in air shows and films such as Valkyrie, starring Tom Cruise, and the 2017 film Dunkirk. information. Our final item for today will be the Aircraft Restoration Company's Spitfire PR11, also known now as the NHS Spitfire. The Spitfire that's going to close our display is a PR11, with the PR standing for Photo Reconnaissance. And it was designed and built in 1944 specifically as a high-performance photo reconnaissance aircraft. After the war, it was on contract loan to Vickers Armstrong, who supplied it to the American Air Attaché for his personal transport in 1948. And it was also famously raced by the wartime Air Transport Auxiliary pilot Lettice Curtis. It's featured in TV series such as The Piece of Cake. And last year, another chapter was added to its story. It began with the idea at the Aircraft Restoration Company, why don't we fly our beloved blue Spitfire, which was nicknamed L in honour of Lettice Curtis, around the local villages for the Clap for Carers evening. Following a huge number of messages of support and gratitude for that first flight, that paved the way for the development of the NHS Spitfire project. The Thursday thank you flight soon became a bit of a tradition in the local area, and after 10 weeks, the Aircraft Restoration Company decided to add their own thank you message to the bottom of those iconic elliptical wings. Since then, this Spitfire has flown around the country with thank you NHS emblazoned across the underside of the wings, and hand-painted names of NHS heroes covering the aircraft. It will fly today to acknowledge and honour the anniversary of the founding of the NHS on the 5th of July. Spitfire's last pass.
Wasn't that special? The NHS Spitfire closing the show here at Duxford's Flying Days behind the scenes. Wonderful flying display that we weren't sure we were going to get. Looking at the forecast 24 hours ago, I thought today was a non-starter. So how wrong could I be? And it's a lesson that I've learned many times. Never take a Met Office forecast, even 24 hours in advance, at face value. You never know what you're going to get at an air show. Wonderful afternoon of flying. I really hope you've enjoyed it. My name's Ian, I run Planes TV. If you have enjoyed it, do give the video a like. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Like the Facebook page, wherever you're watching it, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Helps other people find it. And if you think other people would enjoy it, do those things. Blah. Long days. These are long days, ladies and gents. And it's going to get longer. Got to get ourselves back to Devon via trying to watch some of a football match. No, don't go anywhere yet. You've got hours, and we've got the Spitfire to land just yet. We've got an interesting afternoon planned, ladies and gents. Getting halfway across the country and trying to watch a footy match at the same time. I hope you've enjoyed today. If you have, there's very much more material from past shows. Can't see Spitfire yet coming in from our left. There's a lot of our back catalogue of going back 30 years of air shows available on watch.planes.tv.com. You've heard me rabbit on about it loads. If you want to encourage me to do more of these, do go and subscribe to that service. It's the thing that I'm now 100% focused on, bringing more material to that, which will include a live broadcast in just a few weeks' time. Let's take a look at the Spitfire coming into land. and thanks again to everyone who signed up to the new membership system on YouTube. It's lovely to see you, Andy, and kind words there about giving you an aviation fix. That's the aim. Hopefully giving everyone an opportunity to witness some of the aviation action out here at Duxford and other shows through the summer that maybe you can't get to. So that's the aim. If you want to help us do that, do join, as Andy has. Do join on YouTube, and of course the on-demand service is available to you. Ryan, thank you for the kind words, and Chris, thank you so much again for your moderation support in the YouTube chat. I know everyone's generally pretty good, but I love to see you laying down the law early on. This is a family chat. And thank you, Chris. Well done, Andy. Yeah, everyone give Chris a big thank you for keeping the chat a civil place, and it has been. It's been wonderful seeing everyone having a chat, and Andy described it as company. You know, thanks for being company, and I feel like, you know, the chat is that, isn't it? It's a nice way of spending an afternoon talking to like-minded folk. Who else is there? Favourite aircraft, yeah. Seawall, React virtually, says Chris. Quite right. Got the virtual show at React. Oh, let's take the Spitfire, NHS Spitfire, as he taxis in. That's me. Louis says, back coming 3, live on 3. I was just dwelling on the fact that my focus pull, I went the wrong way on the lens first before going to the nice couple hands on shoulders, enjoying the sights of the NHS Spitfire, as we all have done this afternoon. I think we got everything, didn't we? Did we miss the Firefly? I think we can forgive Rod for not making it through the worst of the weather elsewhere. Wonderful sight to end the show in NHS Spit, and of course we had the lovely collection of TFC Warbirds early on, putting on a stellar show. I'm hoping Louis, I'm going to throw Louis in at the deep end and hope that he's got a few replay shots that we can all enjoy just as we complete this broadcast. So as the NHS Spitfire tucks himself away over at the eastern end of the airfield, I'll say thank you very much for viewing. We'll be back here at Duxford in 3 weeks' time. If you'd like to find out how to watch that, do sign up for the email newsletter, and I'll be in touch in due course via that route, and indeed social media. Do like the Facebook page and Twitter, of course. It's my social media platform of choice. I'm in Plains TV over there. Or you'll find Plains TV as its own entity over on Twitter. I probably haven't even tweeted about today, having said it's my platform of choice. If we look around me here, there's rather a lot we're dealing with as a minimum team of 2, plus wonderful Adam, who we must say a big thank you to for being wide-angle camera today. He's been a great help today, and I'm looking forward to watching back the results of his efforts today. He seems to have enjoyed himself, so that's good. And Louis, of course, in the trailer, who's been vision mixing the show. We've operated on a minimum crew. I hope it hasn't been too disjointed in places, but hopefully an entertaining afternoon. I'll say thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you again soon at Duxford. And do tune in to the virtual Air Tattoo in 2 weeks' time. There's more details of that at airtattoo.com. Okay, from me, Ian Campbell, here, Plains TV at an air show. I will see you at an air show soon. Cheerio.
charge in work at our... anywhere in the world, I believe. It was manufactured at the Curtis facility in Buffalo, New York, in the autumn of 1942. And in 2015, it was also adjudged both the best finished and best average aircraft at the LAA Cyber Rally. It was the Havilland Canada's first post-war aviation project, and it was typically used as a replacement. That paved the way for the development of the NHS Spitfire project. The Thursday thank you flight soon became a bit of a tradition in the local area, and after 10